Carolina Panthers make a trade.
Oh.
They literally just announced this a minute ago.
Oh.
Just made a trade. The team acquires cornerback Michael Jackson.
Shimon.
The team acquired cornerback Michael Jackson from the Seattle Seahawks in exchange for rookie linebacker Michael Barrett. Michael Barrett, their 7th-round pick from Michigan. They traded Michael Barrett, their 7th-round pick from Michigan, who probably was not going to make the team, was practice squad bound, to acquire 27-year-old Jackson, originally a 5th-round pick by Dallas in 2019 out of Miami, has also spent time with the Lions and the Patriots. 6'1", 210, has 21 starts in his has started 21 games in his career, has an interception, a couple of fumble recoveries. So a guy with starting experience, decent size at 6'1", 210 for a corner.
Yeah.
But hey, they addressed the need. We talked about literally just moments ago about who possibly makes this roster.
Yes.
Do they go to the waiver wire? Guess what? You skip the waiver wire by go ahead and acquiring somebody. And this time, defensive back Michael Jackson. This literally was just announced a minute ago.
And it's a 1-for-1 trade.
1-for-1 trade.
7th-round pick.
That's it.
Okay. I'm with it. I don't know much about Michael Jackson, so I won't pretend to know that I know much about him. I just hope Annie is okay during this trade. You didn't get my joke, but anyway. Thank you, Victoria.
I totally
you lost me for a sec there. I'm not gonna lie.
I was trying to be a smooth criminal on that one. But,
it just keeps coming.
Yeah, here we are. No, but the serious part about this is that shows me that this team is all in on Claudine Sherrillis, on Trevin Wallace, and also on Tay Davis as backup linebackers.
Mm-hmm.
And so in that room, Michael Barrett does not have a place. And that's one of the things I kind of wondered as well. You would think that like in the future where, maybe this is Shaq Thompson's last year. Josie Jewell is here on a pretty short contract. Those guys could be out. Maybe you'd still want to keep Michael Barrett. But clearly they feel like they're secure in their future with the guys that they have backing those guys up. That also tells me that if Lamar Jackson wasn't hurt, they don't go get Michael Jackson.
That's true.
Because me and you were cool with some of the guys that are there as cornerbacks. We're like, hey, they can really step up and really play. But this shows that they're not quite sold on somebody in that room, and they need something to kind of to buffer that. So it'll be interesting to see whose place he takes. We talked about that on Panthers Playbook.
We did.
Probably our guy, Boodle, rocking everywhere.
Hey,
DiCaprio Boodle.
DiCaprio Boodle. Hey, we found you, DiCaprio Boodle. Hopefully I like him. I really do. I hope I find you on the roster. But you know what? It might be practice squad bound.
Keep him on a P squad.
But this tells me one thing. By the way, this is according to Darren Gant, the Seahawks special teams coach, Jay Harbaugh, because we see more Harbaughs coaching. Jay Harbaugh was at Michigan last year, which is where Michael Barrett came from. So there's a little bit of a familiarity.
Okay.
So it's like, okay, we're going to bring in someone that
somebody
we know.
we're familiar with. You get somebody you're familiar with.
You get someone that you need and all that. So, again, the Carolina Panthers make a trade. They get cornerback Michael Jackson from the Seahawks in exchange for rookie linebacker Michael Barrett. We talked about how the Panthers would probably look to go to the waiver wire to make claims. But you know what? For them, Seahawks are probably like, this is a fringe player for us, might get waived. Panthers have first waiver claims anyway. But if they really like this guy, hey, you know what? Go ahead and get the process of getting him in your team, in your facility, practicing, learning your defense. That way he's ready to go week 1 if you decide to keep him.
If this guy makes the roster, that would mean that within the last 3 seasons, the Panthers have had a Michael Jackson and a Michael Jordan on their roster.
That's true. That's a really good point. That's a really good point.
That's amazing. I would hope that is a good sign for things to come. I mean, we don't think that this Michael Jackson is going to necessarily be the king of cornerbacks in the NFL.
Unless you're going to do it.
But he might come and bring the thunder. I don't know. So we'll have to see. Maybe he'll be dangerous.
Maybe he'll be dangerous. Oh, Victoria, was distracting.
Yeah, my jokes are just not landing today.
They're not. That's fine. But maybe there it is. It's
like, oh, okay, I get it now.
There it is. So the big question is, I know with Dane Jackson, one of their starting corners,
a lot of Jackson
hurt. I know there's a lot. But Dane Jackson, the starting corner, the guy they signed free agency from Buffalo, has the hamstring injury. My guess, this is also a possibility with the Lamar Jackson injury, is that he might be on the injured reserve list to start the year, because when you go to cut down in the NFL, you can designate 2 players for injured reserve with a designation to return, and they don't have to go through the whole, we got to put them over 53, then we got to put them on injured reserve, then we have to sign 2 guys back to the team. You can skip that step for 2 players. I'm wondering if he's bound for that, which they're just anticipating that move, and they're thinking, hey, let's just go ahead and get someone in our facility right now that we think can be on our roster.
Yeah.
And I think this is also good for Dan Morgan, and I'm sure Dan Morgan's obviously one pulling the strings, but Dan Morgan and Dave Canales, no stones unturned. No stones unturned when it comes to putting your roster together.
Well, and remember, Dan Morgan came from Seattle. I'm not sure if he has any familiarity with Michael Jackson, but he probably at least has been in contact with a lot of his former coaches and know a lot about him. And of course, Dave Canales coming from Seattle. So I think the more people that you're familiar with and that you understand what they can do for you, the better. And listen, we've been hearing players talk about how much they love Dave Canales, and that's something that we haven't had a chance to talk about a lot. And if you have another Dave Canales disciple in the building, that means you're going to have a lot more people bought into the process and maybe see what they can do on the field.